Hello everybody, I'm Gareth.
And I'm Carrie.
And welcome to episode 69
Nice.
of Holy Matcha Movies.
Today, as a Valentine's Day special, we're reviewing 50 Shades of Grey.
Ah yeah, let's fuck.
Fifty Shades of Grey is the 2015 big screen adaptation of the 2011 Twilight slash-fic turned multi-million-dollar scam by writer E.L. James, real name Erica Mitchell, online pen name Snow Queen's Ice Dragon. It stars people who say bad dialogue, filmed by people who should have tried harder, features terrible pop songs and an original score by Danny Elfman. What the fuck?
50 Shades of Grey.
So I think that this movie is going to be your typical, like, romantic film.
So
it's going to have every aspect that you're expecting for those.
what do I think about it?
I did read the book, and, well, I actually didn't read the whole book. I read, like, 120 pages of it.
It's gonna fucking suck.
So what did you think of 50 Shades of Grey?
I want a divorce.
I don't think that's in our contract.
This was your idea.
I thought it would be a great idea.
And was it?
I mean, I felt like the movie was...
You gave up before I did.
Yeah, but let me explain. I think that the movie was, for its genre, I think that it was perfectly executed. Was it my cup of tea? No. How about you?
I completely disagree. I think this is, for the audience it should go to, it's entirely terrible. For who is likely to enjoy it, idiots. It made money enough to make 3 sequels.
Why do you think that?
Think what?
That it was terrible for the audience that it was meant for.
Because it's a movie all about a couple who engage, who in depraved, S&M type stuff. But everything, all the sex they show on the movie is incredibly tame. With the exception, she's tied up. But aside from that, the sex it's very vanilla. This is a movie which is primarily designed for women, but you don't see any dick.
So what you're saying
I
is...
begged for dick in this movie. But they don't show you none of it.
Okay, but what you're trying to say is the audience that this was meant for are...
Women who want to masturbate.
Does this give you pleasure?
Explain the story, or lack thereof.
You want me to explain it? Okay, so it was kind of what I expected. It's that you have Anastasia and you have Christian Grey, and Christian obviously has some kind of issue. And Anastasia comes into the story and he's attracted to her, she's attracted to him. At first he just wants her to be part of his world, and then he finds out that due to his strong feelings for her, his issues that he has, which actually don't fully get disclosed in the movie, they begin to... I mean, they don't get fully. He tells us a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. But anyway, because he's so attracted to her and it's love this time other than what he's had in the past.
He never says that.
Well, anyway, he starts to break his own rules. I mean, I think we're supposed to infer that he's falling for her.
He never says it, so
yeah.
the American audiences won't know that. unless you spit it out for them.
Well, anyway,
Because
so
you people are idiots.
so as they enter into this relationship that's completely supposed to be based on a set of rules, they each break those rules, and then the ending is that they cannot like reconcile their feelings with each other because of his issues, and she sees like into some of his deeper issues that he's got going on, and she's like, I can't deal with this.
Yay! So when we sat down to watch this, we thought we just neither of us realized just how fucking bad this movie was going to be, and after about 15 minutes, Kerry decided she needed alcohol, so that's when we got some booze. So after we got some alcohol, Kerry decided to make a list of what was wrong with the movie. But after about 20 minutes, she even gave up on that because that's how bad the movie is. Why don't you list off some of the things you had?
All right, when did she get his phone number? She just randomly starts texting him, calling him. We didn't see it. We both didn't see it. He sent her some books, some first edition classics, and they came shipped in only gift wrap. She had a fainting spell at one point, and I don't know if it was supposed to be she passed out from alcohol, but either way, it was really unrealistic, and I hate that. I think it's super cliche when girls faint in movies. I also think that, and then this probably just goes with the character, but I think he's bossy and he's a creep. Awkward use of names all the time. This just speaks for itself, but I'm just gonna say a quote from the movie, "Later's baby." This is a personal issue, but I didn't like that neither one of them ever wears an undershirt. I think it's... The fact that he says he doesn't sleep with anyone, but then
He does about 4 times.
yeah,
over
he
the
sleeps.
course of the
He
movie.
sleeps with her over and over again. So
And by sleep with her, we should clarify that we don't mean the act of intercourse. We mean sleeping next to her in a bed after said intercourse.
right. There's a scene with her walking in sheets, and I wish I had said this before the movie because I did expect it to happen, because it always happens in movies where people have sex, but they walk around with sheets wrapped
They
around
get
them.
cold.
No one does it in real life. I don't know anybody who would do that. That just seems so impractical, to take the top sheet, which you know is usually tucked into the mattress, to rip that out.
Not
and put it around you.
after a round of hardcore lovemaking.
You wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know.
All right.
My dick don't work. There's not much in the way of plot. It feels very reminiscent of a Twilight movie in the sense that not much happens. You could condense the plot as it not really a plot. It's just things happen. I will say, brief spoiler alerts if anyone gives a fuck. I did like the end because as we were talking, they got up to a point where there was no real conflict. They just kept having different sex and going over terms of their contract. And I think I expect, I was like, well, at some point they're gonna pull the cliche rom-com of they'll break up and then they'll get back together at the end of the movie. Very surprised, it's not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination. I like the fact that when they break up, it ends. Mm-hmm. You don't see that. I mean, I'm sure this because it was based on a series of books, and I'm sure they assumed this would put in Twilight numbers. So they said, "Fuck it, we can end it on a cliffhanger." I think if the books weren't successful, they would have probably changed it to where it ends on a more happy note in case no sequels are made. But I'll give them props for that, for ending it on that note. It's probably the best part of the movie, both because the movie's fucking over, and that it ends on a atypical ending for these types of movies. And so that brings us to the end of another episode of Holy Matcha Movies. As always, Kerry, how would you rate the movie we just saw?
I would rate it super awkward. Gareth, how would you rate it?
I'd rate it 1 out of 6 spanks. Please join us next time where we'll be reviewing George of the Jungle 2.
Tune in next week for another exciting story from the files of Police Squad.